In the late 1800s, long before Nigeria became a single country, the land was filled with different kingdoms, empires, and trading towns. Europeans had been coming to the West African coast for centuries, mostly to buy goods and sometimes to cause trouble. But by the middle of the 19th century, a new type of European interest had begun, one that was not only about trade, but about control. At the center of this story was a company, not a government, not an army, but a private business. And this business would later play one of the biggest roles in creating modern Nigeria. This company was called the Royal Niger Company. The story begins with a Scottish businessman named George Goldie. He was smart, ambitious, and deeply interested in the growing palm oil trade along the Niger River. At that time, palm oil was extremely valuable in Europe. It was used to make soap, candles, and many industrial products. Goldie saw an opportunity, and he saw something else too. If the British did not act fast, the French and Germans would control the Niger River region. So Goldie began buying smaller trading companies around the river and merging them into one big organization. By 1886, he convinced the British government to give him a powerful charter, a legal document that allowed his new company to operate like a government. This company became the Royal Niger Company, and it had rights no company had ever enjoyed in West Africa. With the charter from Britain, the Royal Niger Company could sign treaties with local chiefs, collect taxes, create its own police force, run its own courts, build its own army, and even wage war. This was not just a company anymore. It was a mini-government, and its main goal was simple: control the trade along the Niger and Benue rivers. To achieve this, the company sent agents deep inland, signing treaties with hundreds of chiefs. Many of these treaties were written in English, a language the chiefs did not understand. Some thought they were signing friendly trade agreements. They did not know they were giving up sovereign rights. Before long, the Royal Niger Company controlled almost the entire Niger River basin. The company used three methods to dominate the region. 1. Treaties. They persuaded local rulers to sign documents that placed their lands under the company's protection, though in reality, it was control. 2. Monopoly. Only the Royal Niger Company could trade freely. Any African trader or foreign merchant who tried to compete was blocked or taxed heavily. 3. Force. If a community resisted, the company sent its private army to attack or punish them. Several towns along the river experienced these brutal confrontations. Slowly but surely, the company turned the Niger region into its personal territory. In 1884 to 1885, European powers met at the Berlin Conference to divide Africa among themselves. This was the era known as the Scramble for Africa. Because the Royal Niger Company had already signed many treaties in the Niger area, Britain used the company's influence as proof that the region belonged to the British sphere. This was one of the reasons Britain was able to claim a huge part of what later became Nigeria. But like every empire built on profit, problems soon appeared. Local resistance continued. The company struggled to manage such a large area, and the British government realized that a private company could not effectively govern millions of people. So, in 1900, the British government took over the territories from the Royal Niger Company. They paid the company £865,000 as compensation, a massive amount of money at the time. The territories were then reorganized into the Northern Protectorate, the Southern Protectorate, and only 14 years later, in 1914, these protectorates were merged into one country called Nigeria. That means the Royal Niger Company played a direct role in shaping the borders of modern Nigeria. Today, the Royal Niger Company is remembered as a powerful force in colonial expansion, the foundation upon which British Nigeria was built. A company that controlled people through trade, treaties, and force, a symbol of how Africa was exploited by economic powers. Interestingly, the Royal Niger Company eventually evolved into the modern multinational corporation known as Unilever. So, the company that once acted like a government now makes soap, toothpaste, food products, and household items found in many Nigerian homes. History has a strange way of connecting the past and the present. And that is the story of the Royal Niger Company. A private business that once ruled over millions of Africans, shaped the borders of Nigeria, and opened the door for full British colonial rule. If you enjoyed this narration, don't forget to subscribe to Nigerian History, where we bring the past to life with simple, powerful storytelling.